Hey, how's it going, everyone? Thank you so much for clicking on the video. It's time once again to talk about the Nintendo Switch. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is, another Switch video. Believe me, I'm surprised at all the Switch videos I've been doing here on the channel. Actually, I'm curious. Comment down below if you are a fan of all the content here on the channel. Also, comment if you don't want me to talk about the Switch ever again and you want me to see about talking about something more interesting like, I don't know, Justice League. To be honest, if it came down to talking about the Switch 24/7 and Justice League, yeah, baby, we doing another Switch video here. We're doing it live. So this one in particular, I'm going to be answering a comment that I get quite honestly daily from people on social media. Considering I was the biggest skeptics of the Nintendo Switch right up until I bought the system, a lot of people are wondering, what are my updated thoughts on the console? I've owned it for almost a month now. It's been a few weeks since my first impression, so am I still in the Switch honeymoon phase? Do I still think the same things? And to be honest, would you recommend someone pick up the Switch this holiday season? Let me preface this video with this. It's going to be a doozy of a video. So if you're expecting a concrete yes or no on whether or not you should buy a Switch, leave right now, because unlike PlayStation, Xbox, building a gaming PC, it's very easy for me to make recommendations for people. I usually start out with this. The general rule of thumb is it comes down to, what are your preferences? If your preferences are straight games like exclusives, go for the system that has the variety that you seek. And then from there, you can make a couple of adjustments like branching paths. Maybe all of your friends play this particular game on that system. You don't want to shun all those guys to get it for another console, so maybe that'll get you to buy it for this system. And then from there, you can make other distinctions as well. But with the Nintendo Switch, I really cannot recommend that to people because the Switch itself is not like PlayStation or Xbox in any way, shape, or form. Nintendo, for better or for worse, and in a lot of cases for worse, they march to the beat of their own drum. They do things their own way. And they've had some successes, like with the Nintendo Wii. They've had some failures, like the Nintendo Wii U. I really feel bad for people who bought that system. But the Switch, on paper, this sounds like it's another Wii U. Like, I remember looking at everything leading up to the system, and I was just not a believer. I didn't like the Switch. I didn't like what they were going for. I hated the fact that they were still in the 1800s as far as features for the system. They don't understand online. They don't understand how to run a business. Yes, I'm quoting the awesome donkey there. But they do know how to make gaming experiences. While they didn't create the best ones on the Wii U, there is still that sort of spark and shine to Nintendo that keeps people coming back for more. And that's what I honestly think they achieved with the Switch. The Switch is the next 3DS. The Switch is everything the Wii U should have been. It sucks that we had to wait an entire generation to it, but this system is good in a lot of ways. It's great in a lot of ways. I can honestly make really interesting recommendations for the Switch, unlike PlayStation or Xbox, where it's usually just the same thing, like, oh, go here for that, go there for that. With the Switch, my best recommendation would be to people who want to play their games on the go. That's it. That is the only concrete, sound reasoning I can make on why someone should buy a Switch. Because everything else is personal preference like a friggin' motherfucker, man. I'm not even joking here. Like, the same recommendations you make in the other systems, you can't do it on the Switch. You really can't. Because everything comes back to the portable nature. The portability aspect of the Switch really governs your entire thought process. And believe me, this makes so much sense when you actually own the system and you appreciate the portable nature behind it. I will give you guys an example. Perfect example. My first day owning Nintendo Switch. I unboxed the system, as you guys saw with the video. I booted up Zelda, did the updates, started playing for a little bit. Was having a lot of fun. Then I looked at the clock and I realized I had to go into work. So instead of me being like, all right, I'll play this when I get home, I threw the Switch in my bag, on break, whipped it out. That sounds really bad out of context. But I started playing Zelda. And I was just in sort of a blissful euphoria, if that makes any sense. I'm trying to sound smarticle up in this bitch. I was just so surprised that I was playing that same experience on the go. And then when I got back home, I docked the system and I continued from where I left off. it's definitely something you got to experience to believe. Unlike 3D or unlike VR, where you actually need to have those sort of things to appreciate it, the Switch itself, the portability aspect is like, kind of like the gift that keeps on giving. And it lends itself a lot to the game library of the system. You hear this time and time again. You know, I'll wait until they have these sort of games for the Switch before I buy the system. When are these games coming out? Is it worth buying right now? To be honest, if I'm being 100% real with y'all, and I know I'm going to turn some heads and piss off some Nintendo fanboys here, the Switch does not have a must-have exclusive library. I'm just going to be honest here. As it stands right now, there's only 2 games on the Nintendo Switch, 2 high-profile releases, 2 high-profile exclusives that you couldn't get on previous systems. And those games are Super Mario Odyssey and the recently released Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Everything else, for the most part, were games you played on the Wii U. Legend of Zelda, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Splatoon. Those experiences, while they are made better on Switch, they're not necessarily a reason why someone should go out there and buy the system. Yes, playing them on the go is a great thing, but I'm not going to recommend someone who already has those games on Wii U, they own a Wii U, to go out there and buy the Switch to play them again. It's just kind of like, no, don't do that. Why are you doing that? If you want to play them again, great, but as it stands, dropping $300 plus $60 on those games, not worth it. However, I will say this. While the Switch doesn't have a great first year in terms of must-have exclusives, it's got a lot of games. Like the aforementioned Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Splatoon, even some shitty stuff like ARMS and 1-2 Switch. I know I'm going to piss a lot of people off for ARMS, especially the insane Game Freak. What's up, Terrell? But yeah, those are 7 first-party games from Nintendo. Granted, half of them are ports, but those are 7 quality games from Nintendo in the first year of the system. When have we seen Nintendo do that? Like for the Wii and the Wii U? I don't recall. Not only that, but they've got all their third-party games. Be it indie titles, be it late releases like Skyrim or L.A. Noire. You've got a lot of games on the system for the Switch in the first year. And that's not something you could say about the Wii U. You just can't. There's no comparison. Yes, the Wii U had a better launch lineup, but the Switch has an overall better sense of scope and diversity and long term. And I wanted to ask you guys this. When you own a system, are you ever suddenly attracted to the concepts of buying games left and right for it? Or do you just wait until there's something you want to play and that's when you pick it up on the system? The Switch is the complete opposite. My boy Soulful Chris can attest to this. The Switch kind of demands that you buy games. Because you're thinking in your head like, oh, okay, you know, I'll just wait for this to do that. I'll wait for that to do that. But on the Switch, it's like, oh, I can play that portably. Oh, this version has some Switch exclusive features. Oh, it's just so interesting how the portability aspect really just increases your purchasing decision about getting a game on a particular platform. Like when I had the choice of picking up I Am Setsuna on the Switch versus the PS4, yeah, I could get it on the PS4 and it will go into my backlog. Or I could get the game on Switch, play it with me whenever I have the time, and I'd put more hours into it here than I would on PlayStation 4 when I'm distracted by other games that I couldn't play on the Switch. So in that respect, as you guys have seen, my Switch library has grown tremendously in less than a month. I think I own over 12 games for the system. That's in less than a month. It's because there's something about being able to play these games anywhere that just really makes me think, oh man, I wish that was on the Switch. Like Valkyria Chronicles 4, for example. I was sitting there thinking to myself, damn, I gotta choose between the PS4 version or the Switch. I mean, I already know I'm gonna get both, but if I had to choose, I'd probably lean towards the Switch, because I could still play it at home with the traditional Pro Controller, or I could take it with me on the go and play it like I did Valkyria Chronicles 2 and the parts of 3 that I got a chance to play. So, in that respect, while the Switch doesn't have a lot of must-have exclusives, it's got a lot of games that you can play and enjoy and have fun, and they're always dropping new stuff every single week on the eShop, be it indie games, or like I said, be them third-party ports like the Resident Evil Revelations collection. So that's pretty dope. That is something I definitely got to commend Nintendo on that front alone. They've definitely gone out of their way to support the system and building those connections with third parties. Great job. It's definitely a different Nintendo in that respect. Unfortunately, we run into one of my biggest problems with the system. You cannot replace your PlayStation, Xbox, or PC with this device. It is just never going to happen. Honestly, I don't think until there's a Nintendo Switch remodel where they have the Tegra X2, are you going to be able to play those same experiences as they exist on the consoles with you on this device. I mean, the dock adds some power, but not that much. Especially not to the point where you can play something like The Witcher 3 or something like Grand Theft Auto 5 where they're not really compromised that much. Now, while I say that, it sounds all doom and gloom for the system, there is some, I guess, ray of sunshine somewhere, and that comes down to the Japanese market. Because like I mentioned before, this is the 3DS successor. Whether Nintendo wants to admit it or not, this is what's going to replace that system. So of course, you're going to get all of the Japanese support. But not only that, these developers are going to have more power to make these games on the Switch very similar to how they appear on the consoles. Let's be real. Japanese games aren't really that demanding. There's only been a handful of Japanese games in the past 10 years that have really pushed the systems to their limits. Unlike, Western developers like CD Projekt Red or Naughty Dog, those type of guys. So in that respect, you should be seeing a lot of those games on Switch. I honestly think it's kind of a given at this point. We should be seeing a lot of Capcom games on the Switch. We should be seeing more Bandai Namco games on the Switch. And both of them have talked about putting a lot more of their titles on the system. They were just kind of waiting to see how it did in the first year. So in that respect, again, it opens up another door. Man, I want to play this game, but do I get the Switch version or do I get the console version, man? Can you guys imagine, and I'm not even a big fan of fighters, so I don't even know why I'm making this argument, but could you imagine playing a game like Dragon Ball FighterZ, playing it at home with your boy, then being able to take the system with you, play with a group of your friends wherever, and you can just host all types of tournaments directly from the confines of your system right here. And it's the same experience as PlayStation and Xbox. Can you imagine what that means for the community? Could you imagine what it means just bringing like one Switch, a dock, plug in your fight sticks, and just going to town with it? That's definitely a better alternative than lugging systems around and lugging monitors and lugging all the things that you got to do. So in that respect, it's got me thinking, yo, the Switch could be the home for a lot of fighting games, or at least make it a better alternative for people if they want to do practicing with their friends and they don't want to deal with the lag that comes from online gaming. Which, of course, if you're playing competitively, you're not really going to be messing around with the online too much. Anyways, we move into the part about the Switch where I don't want to say it's the straight up cons portion, but it's something that needs to be addressed. The Nintendo Switch, in its current state, I cannot recommend as an alternative to PlayStation, Xbox. Because it doesn't have the features, which to this day, Nintendo fanboys still like to argue with me saying, oh, it doesn't matter, I have other systems for that. They like to do their patented, the black girl, like, I don't know, like, meh, it doesn't matter to me. Guys, stop it. Can we stop the BS? It is 2017. This is a multimedia device. It should have the features of a multimedia device. It should have the features that my 2011 Samsung Infuse phone had, but it doesn't. I don't care that you want to play games and that's it. No. Some people want to chat with their friends. Some people want to message their friends. Some people want to set up events and tournaments and all this stuff that the Switch doesn't have. When the Xbox 360 from 2005 still has more features than a Nintendo Switch, it is a problem. And I don't care if they're going to wait till their online service to launch this stuff. We shouldn't have to wait for these features. Before, oh, well, it's not that big a deal to just hit your friend up on another platform. Why can't it be built into the system? Why do I have to go to the extra mile? Why does the Nintendo ecosystem require you to go the extra mile for everything? Everything. I'm tired of doing that. What if I just want to hop on and play some Splatoon 2 with the boys? Why can't I voice chat? Why can't I party chat? Why can't I do anything? Why can't I lobby up in Splatoon? We're not going to create another Splatoon 2 rant because I'm tired of talking about that damn game. But yes, as it stands from that point alone, I can't recommend the Switch being the be-all, end-all device because it's honestly, when you account for all the features it doesn't have, it's not really that much of a portable machine at all. You're going to need a headset connected to your phone, connected to the Switch by this Frankenstein dock. in order for you to voice chat with your friends and lobby chat and party up. Really? Is that so portable? I mean, this thing doesn't freaking support Bluetooth headphones. Like, that's a huge... Like, I had to actually, for the first time in who knows how long, I had to whip out a damn aux cord, plug it into my really nice, expensive pair of headphones, Bluetooth headphones, mind you, and I had to just sit there listening to the game like, oh, this is fun. Oh, wait, I gotta go check something. Instead of, you know, if this was like Xbox or PlayStation, you got your headphone plugged into the controller, you can walk around the damn house with that thing. But with the Switch, it's like, gotta be very careful with this. So you see what I'm saying? Like, don't sit here and devalue another person's complaints about the so-called portability aspect when Nintendo is not going the extra mile to address these features that we had with the freaking Wii. Come on, y'all. Let's be real here. Don't say they can update it eventually, because we saw that they didn't do it with the Wii U. Now, I'm hoping and praying this is a better Nintendo, but as it stands, basic features. Come on. Another thing that I do have to warn some people on is when you buy the Nintendo Switch, I'm going to be real, this is not a cheap system. I know it may seem like it because it's only $300, but what you're getting out of this machine, the benefits of it also comes with some cons. First and foremost, you are going to have to purchase a screen protector and a case for the system because since it is a very fragile device, you do want to take care of this. It is not Gorilla Glass, so it's not really that scratch resistant. So any opportunity that you can to protect this device, I would recommend it. But the cool thing about the Switch is, as it stands right now, the accessories aren't too expensive. So getting a screen protector and a case, that only came to like $25 for me. But again, like I mentioned, micro SD card, you're going to have to purchase that. You can get it for cheap. Like I said, I got a for $30. I got 128 gigabytes because it was on sale. But again, like I said, when you add everything together that you're going to need for the Switch, you're looking at close to an extra $100. And those are not really negotiable at all. Those are required because when you're docking the system, there is a tendency to scratch it. We've seen it happen. When you're out and about in the system and you want to play all your games and you don't want to take the cartridges, you might want to go digital. And if you are going digital, a lot of the games are going to take up space. Again, you're going to have to shell out extra money that you wouldn't have to do if you were just gaming on PlayStation or Xbox. As it stands right now, you could have the vanilla 500 gigabyte hard drive for both consoles and still have way more games than you would on the Nintendo Switch. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about how the Switch is a expensive peripheral, because you need to buy all of these extra items. Let's just be real here. Come on now. Come on. And I know someone's going to bring up the phone argument. Well, you got to buy a screen protector for your phone anyway. My phone, I've had so many phones throughout the years where I didn't have to put any screen protectors on it. They've been just fine. They've been just fine. Why? Because they got freaking Gorilla Glass in there, man. Anyways, we are getting close to the end of the video. As you guys have noticed by now, my recommendations for the Switch are sort of all over the place. Like, I recommend it for these things, then I don't recommend it for these things, but you can still find enjoyment out of it because of these things right here. Basically, it boils down to the portability aspect. But yeah, those are my honest impressions on the Nintendo Switch after owning it for close to a month. There's definitely a lot of things that I want to see Nintendo improve on in the future. Like I said, I still do want all of those features and the ability to take it with me on the go, make it more of a seamless transition, because I'm telling you, like, whenever they drop that Switch V2 that has the built-in Bluetooth support for headphones and it has all these features and it has just everything you need to make it a smooth experience, that's when I can say without a shadow of a doubt, okay, you got to get the Nintendo Switch. Like, right now, just do it. Put up your wallets. Just go for it. But as it stands right now, this is a system that you kind of have to buy into with the hopes and dreams that Nintendo is not going to screw things up like they did the Wii U. Whether or not it still remains to be seen. I definitely do have more hope by comparison to where they were before. But yeah, only time will tell with the success of the system. But I'm just hoping long term things do look up for the console, because I'm actually enjoying it. This is the first Nintendo product that I have really enjoyed a metric crap ton since the Nintendo DS. Like, I've owned the 3DS, I've owned the Wii, I played the Wii U here and there at various people's houses, because I'm not buying that. And it's just, bleh. But this right here is just, Anyways, from me to you for now, my name is NGS signing out. And like always, I will catch you guys later. Peace.